Good morning. Good morning again, dear participants. Can you hear me very well or not?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, thank you. So สวัสดีค่ะ อรุณโซสดย selamat pagi, สบายดี
Selamat pagi.
Morning, Arun Susaday.
And morning.
And good morning and welcome back to day 2 orientation. And before we start the session, may I provide a brief technical reminder again. So please make sure that your audio and video is connected. And second, use the workshop virtual background if you don't have virtual background. And anyway, my team will send the virtual background again in the chat box if you don't have it yet. And please do not forget to sign in the attendance sheet. And next, please rename your display name, which Ms. Abigail already explained to you very clearly before the session starts. And please turn on the camera and your microphone will be mute during the presentation. And you can turn on the microphone to be unmute when it is allowed by the speakers or during the Q&A session. And we will use the chat box again for the communication, and all the files or even like the link will be sent to the chat box. So for this morning, we have about 36 participants, including the school principals. So may I know how do you feel today? So would you mind to let me know in the chat box? Okay, we will have the first exercise on the chat box. How do you feel today? Please send emoji or you can express your feeling. Okay, you can click on the react heart and send and put on your screen. All right, everybody feel love? All right, everybody happy? Okay, type in the chat box, good morning. Okay, that's fast. All right, let me check the other participant. You already sent emoji or put some reaction on your visual screen. Someone has flu. All right, okay, take care of yourself, please. All right, okay, so everybody happy to join the session today. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody feel happy. All right. Okay. So may I welcome the participant with a quick recap about the yesterday orientation. So yesterday orientation was participated by 60 participants, including the school principals from 5 countries: Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, PDR, Myanmar, and Thailand. And yesterday we have learned the meaning of SEP, which is Sufficiency Economy Philosophy, and SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. And you also understand the framework of SEP mindset, right? And we have 3 keywords. We heard about these 3 keywords several times, which are the key element of SEPs. You know about the moderation. What is the moderation? May I double check what is the moderation? Someone can type in the chat box and let me know. Okay, someone can type in the chat box, let me know what is the moderation. All right, okay. So I just want to remind you, moderation is like balance. Balance everything, balance not too much and not too little. And the second term that we heard a lot is prudence. What is the prudence? The prudence like careful and wise in making decisions. And the last term that we hear many times is like reasonableness. What is the reasonableness? It's about being fair and logical. Okay, these three words will be here a lot again in today's session. We also learn about the three concepts. SEP for life, how SEP can improve human values and our life balance. How we could integrate SEP in the education that we call SEP for education. And another term that you hear a lot is SEP rich. What is about SEP rich? Meaning that embodying the SEP elements and characteristics in the activities, including in the classroom settings. And how SEP contribute to the sustainable development. So we learn a lot about these concepts. And from the last presentation from Abigail and Dr. Malika, you would have better understanding about the classroom project already. You understand about the objective. You know about the expect outcomes, key research elements and procedures, right? So I hope that everybody have like big understanding about what was the key concept of the yesterday orientation. And for the agenda of today, you will learn more about how SEP is integrated into teaching methods. So the activity include the photo session, which is my favorite session, and then pre-session activity, workshop about the values, mindset, habit, action, and attitude. And we will have three main presentations. The first one about the research steps. And we also invite two teachers from Philippines and Thailand to share about the SEP Bridge lesson mapping. Okay, so they are the participants of the first batch orientation. And the last presentation, which is a short one, will be about the resource material of SEP that will be presented by Abigail. And we hope that the session today will end at about 12 o'clock. Okay, so I think that everybody understand about the program of today, which my team already sent it to the chat box, so you can download the program and take a look. Now, we can move to the most exciting photo sessions. So, we will take for 3 shots again. So, for the first shot will be the formal photo. And the last 2 shots will be the freestyle. Okay? So, may I request everyone to open the camera. Okay, everybody, please open the camera and make sure you are sitting in the middle of the frame. All right, you can see yourself from the screen, right? You can click on view and select the gallery or even like multi-speak gallery mode. Okay, so make sure you are sitting properly and keep smiling. Your hair okay? All right, okay, I see someone like, try to knit your hair. All right, okay, so my hair is okay. All right, I will take for 3 shots. The formal shot first. On my count, keep smiling. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the second shot, this is a freestyle. Anyone can do freestyle. Okay, what is your freestyle? When someone asks you to take photo freestyle, how do you do it? Okay, Abigail never been the freestyle. Abigail, thank you. Okay, So how about the others? Freestyle. What is the Libby freestyle? All right, okay, great. Thank you so much. Right, someone put some effect. All right, okay, so the second freestyle shot. On my count, keep smiling. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. And the last shot, another freestyle, you can change. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your cooperation and active participation. So all the photos will be shared to you as well after the session. So without further ado, so shall we start the first session, pre-session activity. May I invite Miss Libby again for the pre-session activity? Libby, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you back again. The first activity that we're going to do today goes back to what Ajahn Dr. Priyappa was saying, was saying about QPA, asking questions. So we will start today by asking you a lot of questions and getting your minds and your brains slowly working. It's early morning still, so we need to warm up. So the first thing I'd like you to do is quite easy. I just want you to look at the picture we're going to show you now on the screen. Just have a look at this picture for a few seconds. Okay. All right. And now we're going to go to Mentimeter again, the platform that we used yesterday. And my colleagues will send you the link in the chat box. There we go, the pre-session activity in the chat box. You can click on that to join, or you can use your phone to enter with the QR code. So our first question to you today, how do you feel about this image? What does it make you feel? Sad, yes. It's definitely food waste. How does anybody else feel? Oh, yes, it's upsetting us all. I can't see that one. Okay. Yeah. Let's have some more of you just get practicing on this technique. Yeah. Generally not good feelings coming out here. It's no good. We're sorry about it. We're wasting things. Need more manage. Yeah, we need to manage this better. Dirty. That's certainly, yeah, it creates a lot of waste that doesn't necessarily do good things. Yeah, generally not good feelings. That's just 12 responses. Let's see if we can get a few more responses just to check you're all there. An interesting one there, luxury. I suppose that's being able to throw away so much. Anybody else? Let's see if you're using you might still be trying to get onto the platform. Anybody else coming in? I think that's probably a good summary of how this picture makes us feel. We realize it's wasteful. It's really managing resources badly, food resources badly. Yeah, he's got still a few more coming in now. Yeah, it's a waste of money. Yeah, wasteful, bad management shouldn't be happening. Okay, I think we all agree on this. Let's move to the next question. So now you have to start thinking, what one action can you take to deal with this issue? What could you do to stop this? Let's have some ideas. This is getting you thinking. What could you do in your school to stop things happening like this? Yeah, we need to stop it, but how? How are we going to do that? What action can you take? Clean it. In what sense, I wonder? Can you expand on that? Consume less, yeah. I'm curious about what people mean by cleaning it. Yeah, good to talk with families about how much you're wasting. Yeah, not just in school. Saving, so being prudent. We can prepare, but oh, here's an interesting one. There's an actual action. We can make compost and then it becomes useful. And enzymes, yes. Fertilizers, yeah. Yeah. Eco enzymes, yes. So a lot of you here are getting a bit of an agricultural background, yes, and gardening perhaps. So yeah, you're used to growing things. You can make compost. You can make the enzymes for fertilizers for plants. Yeah, and then yes, just moderating behavior, consuming less, eating everything that you take. And that will save you money and it will save food being thrown away. I'm not sure about get students to the garth, what that one means. And separate waste, yes, that's definitely something that we need to think about. When it's all mixed up, it all just goes to the same landfill and causes us problems. Liquid compost, again, I think that's linked to the enzymes and to, there was another one in here, make compost, enzyme, eco-enzyme, yeah. Okay, 17, that's a few more responses. You better run actions. Okay, let's move to the next question, the final one. Why is it important to take action? Why should we do this? Questions get deeper and deeper. So why do we need to do this? If we continue throwing away so much, what will happen to the planet? We should be aiming for zero waste, but why? What does all this waste create? How can it impact on us? It can lead to, yeah, food insecurity. There's a lot of food insecurity in the world. To save the earth from what? What are we saving the earth from? When you have all this rotting rubbish, what does it create? For hygiene reasons, that's true as well, because with a lot of waste, we get a lot of health issues related to that. So it can impact the health of people on the planet. It affects the economy in that, yeah, we're throwing away money. We had the savings and reduced spending. More waste, more pollution, yes. Classrooms should be clean. That's your action. So yeah, the food waste is going to have a lot of impacts on the planet. It's going to affect people's health. it's going to affect the environment, it's going to affect the economy. So, yeah, so just one small thing, food waste, and that can create so many problems. But in the classrooms, you could start tackling that problem. So what we're looking at today, we've started you thinking in this way, asking questions, asking yourselves questions. Always ask why, how. Keep continuing to ask these questions, because then you will identify problems and solutions. Okay, we're going to move on now with my colleague Kun Art in a minute to a further activity. So thank you for your participation in this activity, and let's continue now to the next session, the workshop.
All right. Thank you so much, Libby, for the very warm-up activities with our participants. So for the next session, we will have another activity to learn about values, mindset, habit, action, and attitude. I understand that you may be confused that how, which one is the most important and which one has interconnectivity of each other, and which one that what are the real meaning of that. So may I invite Miss Libby again and Miss Atisha to facilitate the workshop.
Okay, my name is Art. I'm gonna help. Thank you, Kun. First of all, thank you, Kun Piyapa, for your very good and thoughtful introduction. And all the participants, again, you have to download these interesting Mentimeters by using your mobile phone or go for the chat box to answer. And I would like to introduce you more for the participation in the Mentimeters, because so that's what reflect to us and what reflect to everyone in the Zoom link, that how far or how don't we understand, because without your feedback we don't know, or we could make it more better in case of you can see from the workshop in terms of those 5 interesting words: values, mindset, habit, action, and attitude. As far as we don't know yet how it links, but then we work together for the deep understanding. Okay, everyone ready for that? You can send the emoji in the chat box or let us know. So are you ready for that? Shall we move for the next one? Yeah, I have heard one and I see one very good heart. All right, so the number 1 question to go, now we work together. You can see those smiling faces. How are you feeling today? You can throw the words in, or you can type in the chat box. Busy, sleepy, good, feel good. Well, very good. Busy. Yeah, we are all busy. We are all sleeping, particularly the weather in Bangkok right now. Excellent. That's good. Excited. Someone says sad. Why? Nice to see all of you ready to learn. In a good mood, feeling great. Excellent. Nice to see you all. 24 responses, very nice. I can see the big faces in the chat box as well, and a lot of us with the heart. Feeling great. I'm so happy. That's great to see, to know that. 29 responses now. So overall, I thought we are all wet. Somebody said wet. It's raining. Okay. 33 responses. They're very good. So I presume that today we are very, very okay and happy to go for the next interesting slides and the workshop. 36 responses. Thank you very much. Nice spirit. Ready to learn. That's what we looking for today's session. Shall we move for the next? Okay. Number 2. What is most important to you? Again, you can choose and we can use Mentimeters. The first one is mindset, values, habit, action, and attitudes. This is not right or wrong answer. We just would like to see how you have differentiate in terms of these words. Wow. From the statistic, you can see we have the first one, majority of us choose mindset, second one is become attitude, values, actions, and see, the habit become number 4. And action is the last one. Okay, shall we wait for a second so we can see the changes of the answer in terms of according to the bar graph. Mindset, attitude, so, habit and values keep changing now. Okay, so I just would like to, attitude is coming. 24 participants and okay, we got 26 answers right now. Okay. We have more participation. 32, 36, 30, well, 31, 33 now. Okay. 35 now. Okay. I'm gonna wrap up when we have, okay, we have 36 right now. Let's see. Majority of us choose mindset is the number 1 as important to us, followed by attitude, habits, values, and action. However, remember, this is not right or wrong answer. Just keep in your mind, that's what we agree so far from the beginning or the starting of today's session. Okay, next one, please. Thank you for this. We have habit. Change number again. Yeah. All right, number 3. You remember the number 2 lead to number 3 questions right now. We reduced from the 5 interesting words to only 2 words now. Okay, you know how to do it very quick and fast responses now. We have 4 participants. Mindset number 1. Value is falling up. Okay. Mindset, values still changing. We have 14, 16, 18 responses. Mindset still the first one before the value. 17, 20, 21. remember, participants, is not a right or wrong answer. We just would like to see how we differentiate between mindset and values. 24, 26, and 27 responses. I'm gonna wait for you guys to differentiate or to choose which one gonna come first. 28, 29 with the heart. We have 30 now. You might wait for a few responses before we go for the wrap up. And more explanation from Kulik B. 31. Now don't worry if you're still confused, because it's confusion, not only you, including me as well. 61 responses now. Can I wait for two participants for the answers before we move to the next one? All right, okay, so at least majority of us should have choose like mindset become the first and then values. Okay, just try to think about it for the next clearer picture from Kulik B. All right, okay, the next one, question number 4. What is the most important element that determines personality? We eliminated from 5 those interesting words to 3 1. Attitude, mindset, and habits. Okay, you're gonna see the interesting of the answer among all of us. Mindset still attitude number 1, mindset's number 2, and habit is number 3 now. As you can see, the statistic change between mindset and habits has been increased. We have responses from 25 now. 25. Attitude remain the same for the first rank. Mindsets and habits keep moving. Okay. Okay, we can see that it's keep moving a little bit now between the two last one, mindset and habits. Okay, so I think that should be okay. So at least we see the big picture among all of us, that which one you think is the most important for us. Okay, so now may I change and return the floor to Kulik B for the summarize of those interesting questions, so you can have a little bit more clear picture. It's already there. Okay, thank you, Kulik B.
I don't think you need me, you're too fast. So yes, do you teach values? Let's see how many of you actually teach values. Whether that's through SEP or any other type of education that you approach that you have. So what's happening in your classrooms, in your schools? Okay, there's a lot more of you than 15. Okay, 17 of 18 now. Let's try and hear from all of you. What we would like to know, what's happening in your schools? Okay. 21 responses now. Still quite a few more of you out there. Let's hear from you. Don't worry if your answer is no, don't worry. We're just trying to get a profile, trying to understand more about you. Let's have a few more than 23 responses. Perhaps you're thinking about, do I teach values? Some of us aren't even aware that we're doing it. For some countries, it will be part of your national curricula even. Think of all the activities that take place, either in the classroom or even outside the classroom. Are you teaching values? "25 responses. Let's see if we can get up to 30. Can anybody else come in? I actually haven't checked the chat box. Oh, lost my screen again now. If you have problems answering on Mentimeter, you could send your messages in the chat box. Could you monitor that for me, the chat box? Okay. Oh, QR code is coming later, yeah. All right, I think we have enough ideas there. So the majority of you do feel you're teaching values in the classroom, which is a great thing. So let's go on to the next question, because you answered mindset quite a lot before. Do you teach mindset? If yes, think about how. We've got an answer in the chat box. Okay. What's this in the chat box? All right, most of you are saying so far that you do teach mindsets. I think there's a lot of people wondering still, trying to decide if you do or not. Okay, it's 18, 20 of you now. Let's keep going. This is looking good for us. Okay. Could I just ask my colleague, what do we have in the chat box? There's one message according to. Oh, it must have been the QR code.
We don't have any in the chat box yet, Libby.
Okay. Have a few more responses, but 27 so far. You engage students. We've got our first how answer. Engage students in discussions about right and wrong. I'm sorry. I can't actually see it. Yeah, I can't do that.
So the chat box is coming from Cambodia, talking about engaged student. Sorry.
Right, so I think
in discussion about right or wrong, fairness, empathy, and other moral concepts.
Very interesting to hear. We haven't had many responses on how. Would you like to feed a little bit more into the chat box? How do you do it? I'm having problems with my chat box, I'm afraid, so I'm relying on my friend Art here. Okay.
The incoming chat box is quite interesting. Libby, you can see. You cannot see it.
Cambodia,
from Indonesia. A growth mindset is very important to instill in every phase of human life.
Growth.
Growth mindset.
a growth mindset is very important to instill in every phase of human life. With a growth mindset, people will be able to achieve their success. Even though it is often underestimated, everyone's mindset should be paid attention to in order to achieve success. Thank you for that, Rostiana. Thank you for your inputs. Does anybody else want to say how they teach mindset, or why even? We have 29 responses. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave that there and let's go to the final slide. Oh, where's my final slide? I think to... Okay, here we go. So here's the final slide for us to have a look at. And as Kun Art, my colleague, was telling you all along, there is no correct answer. So this might have seemed very confusing to you because there isn't a correct answer as such. All of these words are interconnected. They're also fluid. They change over time. Our attitudes, our habits, what we do, our actions, our mindset, it can change over time. And this is where education has such an important part to play. And as Dr. Priyanut was saying yesterday, this thinking process where the students get to learn to exercise moderation and reasonableness and prudence is where you can begin to make that change in behavior, where they start thinking about what they're doing and questioning all the time why they are doing things, what they hope to achieve, how they're going to achieve their goals. So these things are very important. Let's just remind ourselves by reading through the different definitions here. Values are foundational beliefs that guide behavior and decision-making, core principles that influence mindset, habits, actions, and attitudes. Mindset is the established set of attitudes or beliefs that shape how we perceive and respond to situations. Mindset is influenced by our values and can impact the development of habits, actions, and attitude. Attitude is our overall outlook or disposition towards life, which can be influenced again by our values, mindsets, habits, and actions. This is what I'm saying. It's all fluid, it's changeable. Behaviors and the way we think can change. Actions are the behaviors we choose to engage in, influenced by our habits, mindset, values, and attitudes. Actions can reinforce or challenge existing habits and beliefs. So again, this is learning by doing. The actions can teach us. Habits are the behaviors that we repeatedly perform, often unconsciously. They're influenced again by our mindset and are also shaped by our values and attitudes. So yes, we don't necessarily know why we do things. We've just always done them. And again, it's time to question all of these things. Think about the impact our habits have on others and see what we could do better. So all of these 5 elements, I'm sure you'd agree, are all interconnected. They all influence each other. And when one changes, it can lead to change in another area. And this is what we need you to keep in mind with your teaching, when you're starting doing lesson plans and things, so that you can think about these 4 things, these 5 words, and see how you can make change, positive change, to have positive outcomes from your teaching. Okay. At this point, I will say thank you very much for your participation, and I will hand you back to Kuntuk.
Thank you, Libby. Thank you so much to our both facilitators, Libby and Miss Atisha. and also the active participation of our audience. Thank you so much. So now you have better understanding about these 5 terms: values, mindset, habit, action, and attitude. So for the next session, you will learn more about the classroom research steps. And I would like to invite Miss Abigail for the presentation. Abigail, are you ready?
I think I am.
Yes, the floor is yours, Abigail.
Thank you very much, Miss Piapa. Hello again, everyone. Abigail is back, and I'm going to share with you the very heart of what we do, connecting it to the session that we just finished. And I hope you enjoyed it because I did. Thank you, Libby and Art, for that session that allowed us to reflect on the things that we do as teachers. We deal with values most of the times, I'm sure, in your curriculum, but mindset, is that something that you really teach? And this survey that we did showed us exactly a mix of thinking of the teachers. Some said they don't teach mindset, but most of you said you do. Again, as Libby summarized very clearly, there's no correct or wrong answer. We try to trigger your thinking about all these elements because this is where the research is anchored on. If you see on the screen, we present the research steps in a very simple manner, 5 steps. And the research is all about bringing in the sufficiency, economy, philosophy elements, which are a set of values and a mindset in your teaching and learning activities in the classroom. Yesterday, we talked about the research design. And now we make it more practical and show you the steps. So, dear teachers, if you could kindly give full attention to this slide that you see now on the screen. It doesn't look like it's something new. It looks like these are things that you do on an everyday basis. Step 1, we call lesson mapping. In your school, in my school, when I was a teacher, we don't necessarily call it lesson mapping, but we call it curriculum design. So when we start a new semester, our principal will gather us in a meeting and say, what's your plan for the next 6 months or the next 3 months? And then we look at the entire stretch of time. And then we start to plan what we will teach our students. So for this research, we want to call that lesson mapping. That each teacher will hopefully produce a lesson map by the end of this 3-day session. So the lesson map that we wish our teacher to produce is just 15 hours. It's not the entire 3 months or 6 months, depending on the structure of your school calendar. We only request 15 hours. So if I teach English 3 times a week for 1 hour, that means for 1 week, I have 3 hours, which means I need how many weeks so I can have 15? That should be 3 weeks. No, it's not. It should be 5 weeks. So if you teach for 45 minutes, we can wrap that up as 1 hour. So that's the idea. So when we plan our lesson map, we look at what is my current teaching and learning plan for June and July. We can extend until August. Our second question is, which subject will I incorporate SEP-rich lessons? Some teachers might be teaching multiple subjects. Could be you teach English and then you also teach computer or basic computer. Probably you teach biology and you are also teaching chemistry. So you decide which one, just to choose which subject area. And then the third question is, which class? Okay, I teach biology and I teach biology to 5 sections, or maybe it's too much, maybe to 3 sections. Then decide which section do you want to do it with, to teach the lesson plans to. And then what is my time frame for implementing this plan? Maybe I'll check my academic calendar and I could see that, oh, we have a big examination coming up in June, at the end of June. So I want to start doing my lesson map first week of July, and I will move until August. And when you do this, in big schools, you have your supervisor or your lead teacher, or sometimes in the Philippines, they are called master teacher, that will guide the other teachers. Or you may want to discuss with your principal directly if you are a smaller school, because the boss at the school will have to approve your lesson map. Next, how many weeks is required? I think we answered that already. And last one, if you have a 15-hour lesson map, how many lesson plans do you do? Now, teachers, you can agree or disagree, or you can feedback in the chat box. When I was a teacher, I was required to write 1 lesson map per day. So if I teach for 15 hours, do we hear response? When I was a teacher, when I have to teach 1 hour, I prepare 1 lesson plan. I think Kundria is responding. Oh, yeah, yes. Okay, somebody said yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
all right. So, dear teachers, if that is the case, if we request a 15 hours teaching and learning, then we need 15 lesson plans. And when I was a teacher, my lesson plan, I tried to limit it to 2 or 3 pages. Write small. At the time, we still have to handwrite. Now we have computers to do lesson plan. But I enjoyed it because I managed to practice my handwriting. So my point is, if your school requires you to prepare only 1 lesson plan per week, then that means you have less lesson plans to prepare. You can feedback again. So for step 2, the lesson planning, that's when the lesson map is segmented into smaller pieces. So the 15 hours, probably you write only 5 lesson plans. But in my case, when I was a teacher, I have to write 15, which is fine. Now, when you have a lesson map, you do not have to write all 15 lesson plans right away. As a teacher, in your experience, I'm sure you manage it, and it depends on the requirement of your principal. Some principals would want to receive all lesson plans right away. But some principals might say, okay, weekly, and that was the practice when I was a teacher. At the end of each week, we should be able to hand in the lesson plans for the coming week. So I know that you have your existing practices, and then we leave it like that. But the point is, The lesson plans should come from the bigger document, which is the lesson map. And when you have the lesson plans, then the teaching and learning on an everyday basis is guided by that lesson plan. And in that lesson plan, we want to see the SEP elements. And after my presentation, we will see concrete examples how this is done. All right, so you teach and then your students learn for 15 hours. And while you do that, dear teachers, point 4, we gather data. This might be the additional work that we would want the teachers to help us with. How do we gather data? We prepare questionnaires. We call them research tools. You do not have to develop your own. We prepare questionnaires. But what we might request the teachers is to help us translate. From the steps, we will try our best to translate them. In Thai, for example. In Thai, we have Thai colleagues that can review the translation. For Bahasa Indonesia, we can attempt to translate, but we may also need you to correct. Because at the moment in our team, we do not have someone who speaks Bahasa Indonesia. And the case with Cambodia for Khmer. And of course for Laos. So Mr. Bunleon will have more role because he will be able to help us review the translation. Now moving on, after the 15 hours that the teacher teaches, for example, if I teach biology, and then I have responded to some questionnaires, 3 or 4, some will be responded to by the principal and not the teacher. Then we will have reflection and feedback. We will have another meeting like this online, and we will request the teachers now to kindly report back to us what happened in your 15 hours teaching and learning. And we will organize a session like this for a day. And probably by that time, we will have many good news from you on the result of your teaching and learning. Dear teachers, don't forget to take photos. You can take videos as well with your students when you do the teaching and learning, so that when you report back the result, you will have nice photos to share. All right, let's move to the next slide. This one I have presented to you yesterday with your principals, just to remind an important element of the research. When you have decided the subject and the class to teach and use your lesson guides that have set elements, please also choose a second class, a second group of students that we call control group. I'd like to just repeat a bit of this for us to remember. So if I have a group of students and I will teach them using lesson plans that have SEP elements, I should also choose another set of students. And we can call that set of students control group. If I move to the next slide. Yes, please. All right. Dear teachers, I need your attention. Please to kindly look at the screen. This is how we illustrate the control group and the study group or the research group. Please look at the illustration, and you have your teacher, and I am teacher Abigail for this session. And teacher Abigail is teaching health education, and she participates in the research of SEAMEO SEPs. So teacher Abigail will choose the first group of students. They are grade 9. They are section 1. And in my illustration, there are only 5, but our request is 30 students. And this first group of students is what we call the research group. This research group is the class or the group of students that Teacher Abigail will use the SEP-rich lesson plans. This group of students, the research group, will be given a pre-test before the 15 hours. And they will be given the same test after the 15 hours. I hope you are in front of me so I can see you nod na. Like, am I making myself clear? Dear teachers, you can send emojis. I'm looking at the screen, but just in case I'm not making myself clear, please also send unhappy face so I can have a sense whether my explanation is clear or not. If I may continue, the second group of students, which is the green group, if you see in the screen, they're also grade 9, but they are section 2, a different section. They are our control group. Dear teachers, we will also give them pre-test at the same time we give to the research group. After the pre-test, they will receive their regular lessons without the SEP elements in the lesson plans. After the 15 hours, so Teacher Abigail teaches grade 9 section 1 in the morning using SEP-rich lesson plans. Teacher Abigail teaches grade 9 section 2 students in the afternoon using the regular lesson plans without the SEP elements. And then both section 1 and section 2 receive teaching and learning activities for 15 hours. At the end of 15 hours, the section 1 receive post-test and the section 2 receive post-test as well. Now, I read your profile forms. Many of you did classroom research in the past. You know the reason why we have a control group. Because we need a point of comparison. We need to compare the performance of research group with the control group. Without a control group, we do not have a point of reference. Without a control group, how do we know the performance of the research group? So we need the control group to tell us the level of performance of the research group. We need to compare the knowledge, the skills, attitude, and values, or KSAV. The pre-test is the baseline, and the post-test is the achievements. The research will only be successful if we do both control and research group. Is that making sense, Mr. Mulis? Is it clear for everyone? I see the principal, Mr. Kaswadi. So if you think that you have a question at this moment, I'm happy to give you time. Mr. Kaswadi, would you like to say anything? Yeah, I see you, sir.
Thank you, madam. I really listened to your explanation clearly, and what you say about how the research conducted in the class. I think it is not too difficult conducting. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Pa Kaswadi. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. That gives me assurance that our explanation made sense to the participants. And again, going back to Pa Kaswadi, I read many of your teachers have done classroom research in the past. So by hearing that this is not difficult, it gives us an assurance that our research will be successful, particularly for batch 2.
Yes,
Thank you.
of course. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. At
Yes.
this point, I have probably 2 minutes to wrap it up. That is my last slide. If there is one teacher that would like to say anything, I can give time for a teacher. Can a teacher from Thailand give a feedback? Is Cruz Sofika still with us? Yeah, I don't. Okay, I cannot see all of you, but anyway, I think Pak Kaswadi's response and assurance is good enough for us. So with that, I'd like to end my presentation and hand over the virtual table to the MC, please, Miss Piapa. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abigail, for the clear presentation about the research steps and tasks that the teachers need to engage in this classroom research program. And thank you so much for the teachers who reflect and make sure that you understand the session quite well, and also for your expression and reflection during the session. And for the next presentation, you will see the real example how the lesson mapping or curriculum design can be developed by integrating steps-rich elements in the lesson plan. And we are very pleased to have 2 teachers who participated in the first batch orientation to share with us the completed example to our batch 2 participants. They are the 2 outstanding lesson mappings that presented by the teacher from batch 1. So for the first speaker is Mr. Darrell Kinukai, the teacher 3 from Cagayan National High School from the Philippines, and his presentation is applying step-rich in biology. Please welcome Darrell on the virtual stage. Darrell, are you ready? Okay, may I turn the floor to you? Darrell, could you please unmute yourself?
Mom, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we can hear you very well, Darrell. Please go on for the presentation.
Hey, can you see my slides, Mom and Sir?
Yes, it's perfect. It's in the presentation mode.
Thank you very much, Mom. So,
Yes.
hi everyone. Today, I'm here to provide some insight on how I created a lesson map that is rich in SEP elements, or known as the sufficiency economy philosophy. Let me emphasize once more that SEP refers to leading a reasonable and balanced life that is motivated by resilience and reason in order to achieve long-term happiness and well-being, or also known as our SDG. So as we seen in the picture, okay, someone is living a moderate, balanced, reason, and resilience life. It is because this will result to what we call happiness and well-being. So my name is Dairel Siginukay, and I am a licensed teacher and a nurse. I major in biological science and work as a public school teacher at Cagayan National High School. I teach science, research, and biotechnology to ninth graders. I also work as a nurse educator, supervising nursing students in psychiatric, orthopedic, and operating room. It is my privilege to deliver to you the SEP Rich Lesson Map that I have created, and I feel honored to share it with my brothers and sisters in the Southeast Asian countries. So this question served as a guide for me while I created the lesson plan, or the lesson map, I should say. Allow me to go over the research study before I respond to the questions about how I selected the topic and how I came up with my lesson plan. Lesson map. So the research study is titled SEP and SDG in the Classroom, a pilot study on integrating SEP elements in the teaching and learning. Though the word "and" in research title, which ought to be for to make it SEP for SDG in the classroom, might have confused you a bit, we want you to realize that the main objective of the study is to determine how effective SEP-rich lessons are in our instruction, so that we can achieve sustainable development, which is already useful in Thailand. So the goal of this study is to use the SEP in order to attain SDG, which is already useful in Thailand. The study's overall goal is for us to achieve sustainable development through SEP-rich lessons, which will have an impact on all four living areas, including the economy, culture, environment, and society. We also need to be aware that the study's focus is on environmental and health science as reflected in the research title, which is why I choose the topic of heart attack to incorporate the SEP-rich instruction. So, of course, I'm teaching at Cagayan National High School, that is from Philippines. My topic is myocardial infarction, and the subject area is biology. So my students will be grade 9 science program students, which will be composed of 34 students, and the instruction or the lesson map will be delivered for a total of 15 hours. So I teach science and biotechnology. So the mastery of the cardiovascular system and the diseases associated with it is one of the learning competencies listed by the Philippine Department of Education, which is why I chose myocardial infarction or heart attack. I also mentioned earlier that one of the main areas of interest for this research study is health science. The Philippines' top cause of mortality is heart attack, and one recent fatality is the globally recognized Filipino actress, Jacqueline Jose. Okay? Incorporating the 3 SEP principles, which are moderation, prudence, and reasonableness, into the teaching and learning of heart attack will therefore contribute to the community's health, which is one of the objectives of sustainable development. In summary, while selecting a topic, make sure it aligns with the teacher's overall lesson plan, the school's curriculum, emphasizes environmental science or health, and promote the goals of sustainable development. So that's the factors that you have to consider in choosing your topic. Again, may I say it again? In selecting a topic, make sure it aligns with the teacher's overall lesson plan, school's curriculum. It focuses on environmental science or health and promotes the goals of sustainable development, which is a happy and well-being life. So when to teach it, what strategies or activity will I'm going to choose to teach the lesson map, and what's the form of assessment. Okay. In question number 5, the lesson plan will be delivered in accordance with the DepEd curriculum and scheduled when consent is obtained, permission from administration is approved, and pretest is given. So before we implement the lesson map, make sure that we gather consent. We ask permission from the administrator, and make sure that the lesson map that you are choosing or you want to test should be in accordance with the DepEd curriculum. So the lesson will be taught and learning will be assessed using methods that are appropriate for today's digital native learners. So I focus on the digital native learners because when you say digital native learners, these are the learners who already born having digitals in their surroundings. This is important because a teacher like me or an old teacher did not live in this generation. So we have to adjust our teaching by by putting into consideration the character of our learners. Therefore, the elements of SEP will be integrated with the interactive activities, digital learning, student-centered activities like demonstration, written demonstration, and real community immersion. So my topic is heart attack, and the learning objective is to define heart attack. So the key concept here is the definition of heart attack. So this is just a piece of my lesson map where 3 SEP elements were integrated or infused. You can review and download the full portion of the 15-hour lesson map from Ma'am Abby if you wish to use it as a guide for for developing your own lesson map. So anyway, let me ask someone. I would like to know how our fellow participants, our brothers and sisters, perceive moderation. Can I ask someone to answer what is moderation in your own understanding? Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hear
yes.
you.
Okay. Sir, what to you is moderation, sir? Can you please answer? Thank you, sir.
Who is that?
So if the participant confident to answer, Darrell, please raise your hand. You can raise your hand or even like unmute yourself.
Okay, so maybe I can help the participants, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Is it important for us to realize the really meaning of moderation, because this will be integrated to our lesson map. Okay, so moderation, if we define it according to the philosophy of the SEP, is the avoidance of excess or extremes. Okay, when we do something, it should be enough only. There should be balance. That's why you never overlove, so your heart cannot be damaged or cannot be hurt. Okay, it's just a joke. Okay. Anyway, when I'm when I want to deliver my topic on the definition of heart attack, Okay. The moderation is seen here, and the reason why the instruction will use or will integrate moderation. So the recognition that a heart attack results from occlusion and damage of any artery due to high cholesterol, smoking, high sugar foods, stress, and inactivity, which can cause oxygen deprivation, heart tissue death, and death, helps students realize the importance of enabling balanced and healthy lives. So while I'm making the lesson map, I think of the definition of moderation. Okay, and since the topic is heart attack, okay, I have to make sure that moderation will be delivered in explaining the definition of heart attack. Another step element that I infuse are reasonableness and prudence. So how I was able to infuse these elements, okay? Realizing that maintaining a healthy balance in their lives will help prevent heart attacks. Okay? And by the way, when we say reasonableness, what do we mean by this? Okay? When we say reasonableness, okay, we make a decision based from our knowledge or understanding and careful consideration of all relevant factors. We educate students realize that there should always be a good justification for every decision they make in life. Let's say, for example, since they know that exercise can protect heart, okay, and it will be a good reason now to do exercise. And another is prudence. And when you say prudence, the magic word for prudence is resilience. Okay, resilience to internal and external shock. It is being tough when challenged by difficult situation. So knowing now that heart attack or that heart can be strengthened through exercise will make realize the students to do exercise in their life, to have a good diet, and to prevent stressful situations in their life. And aside from that, knowing now the reasons of having a good heart will lead them to a balanced life. So it is essential that in addition to instruction, we teach our students how to withstand or overcome difficulties. So how are we going to carry it out? We provide them with activities, simulations, or real world scenarios where they can overcome obstacles. And these activities will be discussed next. Okay, so the question now is, how am I going to integrate these three elements, the moderation, the reasonableness, and prudence in my lesson? First, I chose image analysis, then followed by an animated video. Of course, when you choose these strategies, make sure that this will target the three elements, the development of the three elements. How we deliver the instruction or the contents of our or the topic will be in a manner that matches the personality traits of today's generation. Additionally, we always remember to include the SEP elements while choosing the instructional techniques we will use. Students will learn through the image analysis how much heart. So students will learn through the image analysis how much worse a damaged heart is than a normal, healthy heart, which will motivate them to live a strong, balanced life in order to build strong hearts. If you can see here, okay, this is my strategy to develop the three elements of SEP. Because knowing now the image of a damaged heart will lead them to have a balanced life. Do you have any question about image analysis, why I chose it?
So far, so good, Darrell.
Thank you, Mom. Another technique that I'm going to use, aside from the image analysis, to compare a healthy heart and a bad heart, so they will be realizing that they need to live a moderation, a reasonable, and a resilient life, is an animated video. Okay, we have the link here. They can just click it. This why animated video, by the way? Because our learners are digital natives. Through a video presentation using an animation that will capture the attention of our students, they will discover how heart attacks develop, which will drive them to live a balanced, reasonable, and resilient life. The question now is, how are we going to know if they really practice these three elements? It's true, we were able to deliver the instruction for them to realize this, but the question now is, how are we going to know if they really practice these three elements in order to achieve happiness and well-being? It will be explained in the next slide. Okay, so again, assessment. For us to know or to determine if they really realize the importance of the three elements, we need to do assessment. And we have to choose, okay, a strategy to make sure that we can measure these three elements. And I chose sketch or creative image, which will describe how heart attack is developed. Why did I choose sketch or creative image? When you say sketch, it can be through manual drawing, or they can also use digital or web app to create an image. Through sketch or drawing or creative image, the students' motor skills, because they will draw, problem solving skills, and critical thinking skills, because they will be going to explain what heart attack is through an image, communication skills, because they want to communicate to other what heart attack is, and enhance patience and memory will be developed as they complete the image, and SEP element will be realized while doing the task. Of course, if you are drawing, okay, you will slowly realize how important heart is, and you will be driven to what? To do or to practice the three elements of SEP. And to reinforce your assessment, you can ask them through a reflection, an essay of how they will or how they were able to develop the importance of the three elements through sketch or creative image. So that's all for me. Okay, if you we would appreciate if you were to clarify. We will be happy to address any questions you may have, dear participants. Thank you. So educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Thank you very much, sister and brother from Southeast Asian countries.
Thank you so much, Darrell, for the very wonderful presentation. And I hope that our audience now have better understanding how to create the lesson mapping by integrating SEP elements. Okay, if you have any question regarding Darrell's presentation, you can type in the chat box. All right, so that we can keep the questions, and then maybe at the end of the session, if we have more time, we can ask Darrell to respond to the questions in Q&A session.
Ma'am, to end the presentation.
Oh yes,
okay,
please go on. Go on, please.
Yes. To summarize the process of creating a SEP-rich lesson map, focus on incorporating the three elements: moderation, reasonableness, and prudence into the subject matter you are teaching. Then integrate these elements once more into your assessment to ensure that the students have retained these skills throughout their lives. Thank you very much, ma'am and sir.
Thank you so much, Daryl, for the last end message. And for the second presenter is Miss Sasi Prateep Nathalang, teacher from Srinakarin at the Princess Martha School, Thailand. She will share her lesson mapping for the chemistry subject. Miss Sasi, are you ready? The floor is yours. We are now sharing the screen for you. อาจารย์ศาสีคะ
Yes.
Yes, you can start the presentation.
Okay. สวัสดีค่ะ Good morning, everybody. My name is Sasi Prateep Nathalang. I'm come from Srinakarinta, the Princess Martha School, Phuket in Thailand. Today, I will present you about my lesson map. Next, please. Okay. My subject area is chemistry. My topic lesson map is properties of elements. The grade level of student is 10. A number of students are 30. Next, please. Total number of hours of my lesson map are 15 hours. I get 4 plans or 4 lesson plans. Plan 1, representative element for 5 hours. Plan 2, transition metal for 2 hours. Plan 3, radioactive element for 2 hours. And the last, plan 4, the effects of element for 6 hours. Next. Okay, description of plan 1, representative element, key concept 1, properties of representative element in group and in periods. 2, the benefits and harm of representative element for living organism and environment. Strategy or activities are activity-based learning with problem-based learning and group discussion. For assessment are participation in class activity, group presentation, and oral tests. Next. For plan 2, transition metal. Key concept 1, properties of transition metals. 2, the benefits and harm of transition metal for living organism and environment. Strategy or activities are the same as plan 1, that activity-based learning with problem-based learning and group discussion. For assessment are participation in class activity, group presentation, and oral tests. Next, please. Plan 3, radioactive element. Key concept 1, properties of radioactive elements. And 2, the benefits and harm of radioactive element for living organism and environment. Strategy or activity like the same plan 1 and plan 2, that activity-based learning with problem-based learning and group discussion. Assessment, participation in class activity, group presentation, and oral tests. Next. Next, please. Okay. And the last for plan 4, the effects of elements. Key concept, the effects of the useful element for living organism and environment. For plan 4, I get 6 hours because strategy or activity-based learning and problem-based learning and group discussion. I include debate competition for students to get their opinion and open mind their opinion too. Assessment for group presentation and debate competition. Next. And this is my model called double PDR model. Double PDR model I use for all plans. One plan to 4 plans. because I think my PDR model can improve and develop students for solve the problems. Double PDR models consist of double P, problem and plan, double D, do and discuss, and double R, reason and review. Next, please. Okay, this is example form of assessment about participation in class activity or personal work assessment. Consists of disciplines, intention, open mind, on time, and responsibility. I guess Rubik's score for 5 score, practice always or usually. 4 score for practice generally or often. 3 score for practice sometimes. And 1 or 2 score for practice seldom. Next, please. Example form of assessment include presentation or teamwork assessment. Consists of participation, intention, open mind, problem solving, and responsibility. About Rubik's score, like the same one. Next, please. Okay. My subject, chemistry. Topics is properties of element. Integrate sub element or value in field. For moderation, understanding the benefits and harm of element to reduce the effects of living organism and environment. For prudence, taking responsible action to protect living organism and environment for future generation. And for reasonableness, solving problems and making decisions based on scientific evidence and logical thinking. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the very wonderful presentation and very comprehensive. And maybe also thank to the school officials joining Ms. Sasi this morning. And thank you for your support. And is it possible if you would like to invite Ajahn Krishnapong from your same school to say something? Ajahn Sasi, is it possible if you would like to invite Ajahn Krishnapong to say something? And also the principal.
Oh, okay.
She can present in Thai if she likes. Okay, I see the อาจารย์ใหญ่ Okay, ค่ะ So we would like to invite the school director and deputy director to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. It's our great honor to be involved with the SEAMEO SEP for school. We are already in this project from the first project, right, teacher Krishnapong. So our school be ready all the time to support all teachers and students to be ready and understanding in SEP concept. And now we include SDGs in the classroom. So today we come to share our teacher, teacher Sasi Pratip Nathalang. She is one of our best role model in our school to write a lesson map and for teaching. And today we have our teacher Krishnapong, my partner that we went to a seminar in Nakhon Pathom all together before with Miss Abigail. Nice to see you again. And we hope that we can be involved together for the great meeting and seminar again, all together forever. Okay, Mr. Krishnapong, would you like to say something?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, the delegates from SEAMEO SEP Thailand and all the guests and the speaker today. I'm so glad to be here again. I would like to say some about my pilot study in my classroom. I find that moderation is a very important thing. It's the kind of the key that we can teach a student to learn about moderation. They learn how to do any activity in their life in moderation. Thank you. Thank you very much for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the support to this project and also your motivation to the teacher engaging in this project. Thank you very much to the school director, deputy director, and all the team from the Sinakalin Princess Mother of Thailand. And for the next part, now we are reaching to the Q&A session. And I know that many participants would have like questions in your mind, many questions. So if you have like questions that you would like to clarify with Darrell, Ajahn Darrell or Ajahn Sasi, so in Thai we call Ajahn as a teacher. So Ajahn Darrell and Ajahn Sasi, could you please raise your hand, or you can type the question in the chat box. Okay, any questions? Maybe I can ask the participant from Indonesia. Maybe anyone, would you like to raise the question to our speakers? Let me see. Who else? And how about Cambodian teachers? Do you have any questions? Or even Thai teachers? Right, now I would like to ask Abigail. Do you have any question? All right, Abigail, starting from you first. Something that easy question.
All right. Thank you, Kun Piapa. Thank you, Mr. Dairel and Ms. Sasi, and of course, special thanks to Ajahn Ratanapon and Ajahn Kritsanapon for the support. We did not expect that you will also join us. Really, really appreciate it. Our director is also in the audience, Kundurias is in the audience. Probably what I would like to say, a little bit of comment and then a question for both the speakers. I think for teachers who are listening right now, I hope you really listen carefully. For this batch two, you are fortunate because we have concrete examples from two teachers from Thailand and from the Philippines. So they really talked about their actual lesson map. And this is really superb in how we reviewed all the lesson maps submitted, and these two lesson maps came out really, really good examples. So we need to feature them. So first of all, congratulations to Mr. Dairel and to Ms. Sasi for these two teachers supported by the good principals, of course. I know Mr. Dairel's principal is not in the audience, but we communicated to the two principals. We see in their lesson plans for teachers in the batch two, we see how clearly they illustrated moderation, prudence, and reasonableness match with the lesson. They really put it side by side. So they did not teach only prudence, they did not only teach reasonableness, but the three things together, and really clearly showing how the activities also aligned with those three elements. So there is one statement that Mr. Dairel mentioned when he said, when he was developing the lesson map, he was thinking of the definition of moderation. I think my question to that, Mr. Dairel, for you first, and I think the same for even with Ms. Sasi, the definition of the three, while you develop your lesson map, how do you remind yourselves? How does it happen that you think of activities and match it with the moderation, with prudence and reasonableness? what is the technique? Because even for me, when I have to think what activities I should do to illustrate prudence, it takes me some time. And I will go back, what is prudence again? Could you tell us a little bit how easy, how difficult is that for you, and what is your technique? If Kuntuk would allow me, shall we start with Miss Sasi and then Mr. Dyrel? Again, my question is your personal experience of trying to decide moderation, prudence, and reasonableness in your lesson map. Tell us more about your techniques.
Yes, please. So Darrell and followed by Ajahn Sasi. Darrell, would you like to address the question from Abigail?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you very much for the nice feedback. And regarding your question, ma'am, I go back to the SEP philosophy when I'm making the teaching strategies and the assessment. I always put in mind that the students need to realize the importance of moderate, balanced life and being resilient to achieve a happiness and well-being. That's always on my mind when I make and when I made the teaching strategy and the assessment. And I always put in mind the characters of my students because our generation is different from them, from their generation. So we are the teacher, we have to adjust to their generation while integrating the SEP philosophy. And though SEP philosophy are not yet what you call this are not yet available to other country, which is the reason why you are introducing it to them. Okay, which is already effective to Thailand. I'm really happy that you are sharing this philosophy to other countries. So that's what I'm thinking when I'm making the teaching strategies and the assessment. You always go back to the SEP philosophy. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Darrell. And Ajahn Sasi, are you ready to answer that?
Okay, I'm ready.
ค่ะเชิญค่ะ please.
By me, I saw and survey my students for the topic subject. And I think what topic that can integrate SAP that student can use in daily life and can get information to another one.
Yes.
For sustainable lifestyle in daily life. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And we also have another question in the chat box from Lao PDR. In the question, he asked, please explain clearly about SEP elements in fields and key concepts. Okay, so but before we can give the answer to you, and I was informed that Kunduriya want to reflect something. Kunduriya, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Kunpiyapa. Well, first, I would like to thank both presenters, Daryl and Ajahn Sasi. Thank you very much for your sharing of your learning lesson plan. Because as Abigail just mentioned, you are this second batch very fortunate for you that you have a good example. I remember when we had the first batch, they were not clear. We took time. We took a lot of time to explain on how they can develop the both lesson mapping and lesson plan. But this group, you know, you learn from your peer teachers. For Daryl, I quite impressed. I'm quite impressed with how you develop your topics. And you said that you try to study the concept, the main concept of the SEP. And of course, Ajahn Sasi is a little bit easy for you because your school is also the SEP school already. So, but you have done a very good job in terms of, I'm not an expert in chemistry, but when you design your lesson plan on how you will teach the elements, it's quite impressed that you can make the good order, good sequence of the your topic. And the way you manage the time is quite, you know, quite impressed when the last one, the effect of elements, and you also include the debate competition. That is very inspiring for students on how they will learn about this. And you also sharing a very good example for the participants in this batch. As for the question from Laos, I don't know if it will give you a clear picture if I explain in Thai, but I will try to simplify in English because my understanding from Ajahn Bullern yesterday that some of the teachers, you will have to explain to them in your local language, but I will try. I think yesterday's presentation was quite clear that when we talk about the SEP philosophy, we highlight on key concepts of moderation, prudence, and reasonableness. So for moderation, it's like how to balance your life. So when you do things, you have to be logic. So things like this are key concept in the SEP. And I think that for the SEP, it shows that education is very, very important because first, for the SEP philosophy, for the SEP itself, you need to have knowledge and skills. So how can you find knowledge and skills? So from education. So that is why we try to put SEP in education because knowledge and skills will come first. And it's the kind of how you can make your decision based on knowledge and skills that you have with virtues. So these are the, if I could conclude for our Lao colleagues, is that there are 5 core concepts in the SEP. First, you need to have knowledge. And of course, during these days, not only knowledge, but you should have skills as well. And then virtues is the second key component of the SEP. And when you want to make it into actions, you need to be, you need to have moderation, you need to have the prudence and reasonableness. But perhaps I can elaborate more in Thai for you later for the teachers from Laos so that you might have a clear picture on the SEP. And my understanding is that many schools in Laos also adopt the key concept of SEP already, but only some schools in Laos. So this is what I would like to respond to the presenters and respond to the question from our Lao teachers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kakundriya, for the clarification. and also reflections to our presenters. And I also would like to invite Dr. Malika from the Walayalak University or Ajahn Jintani ka. If you would
Thank
like
you
to
so
reflect.
much.
Yes.
I think both presentation is very excellent. If I would like to comment for the first one for the School for Philippines, I think we can add up in the assessment. The assessment that you show is, I think, is summative assessment. We should add up a formative assessment to check the knowledge of students about the definition or about the application of reasonableness, prudence, something like that. Or you can ask students to draw the flow chart, cause and effect of disease, of heart attack, something like that. I think it's more perfectly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jintani. And how about Dr. Marika? Is she around to give some reflections?
I think now I can the presenter from Walayalak University. Now, Dr. Malika in another meeting.
Okay, thank you so much. So now we have a question from Cambodia, from Hun Sen Chok High School, from Ajahn Dalika. The questions say that I have a question. How do we know the subject or topic could be applied rich lesson? Is it be able to include with any teaching method, since some lessons are matched with Bloom taxonomy? Thank you for the presentation. So may I give this question? This is the most difficult question to Abigail. Abigail, would you mind to reflect and give the clarification to the teachers?
Thank you for the question from Cambodia. Indeed, difficult question. So I have everyone backing me up if I make the wrong answer, or others can help me, like Ajahn Ratanapon, like Kunduria in the audience, Ajahn Chin. Generally speaking, SEP, sufficiency, economy, philosophy, values, and mindset are applicable to any discipline, to any subject matter. Chai mai ka, Ajahn Chin?
Yes.
Thank you, Ka, for the confirmation. So our teachers and principals from Cambodia, we can apply, we can infuse, we can integrate SEP values and mindset into any subject area, into any discipline. If participants will notice in batch 1, we have more participants and teachers doing health and environment science. But eventually, we started having English teachers, teachers who teach physical education, teachers who teach languages, and we accommodated all of them. So in short, SEP is good to infuse with any subject matter, with any discipline. Kunduria may want to say something.
Just to add what Abigail just said, that even in the first batch, I think we have some teachers who teach special needs children. Yeah. So the set can be applied to any subject. We don't want to limit only the some specific subject. We have several background from our participants. Like yesterday, I think that there are some English teachers when you introduce yourself, physical education, or even citizenship education, citizenship education, and civic teacher, civic education. So just to confirm that the concept can be applied to any subject. So it's up to you to design, because you have the content on what you are teaching. And then if you look at what Daryl just answered, how he could match his lesson plan with the element of a set. That is the right way, and I would encourage you to do like that. So you have the content and you just match the key element of SEP into your subject area. I think that's the best way.
Thank
Hey,
you so
Mom,
much.
can I add something?
Yes, please, Darrell.
Mom, yes, the SEP can be applied to different subjects, but in the research study, it focuses on health and environment science. There's nothing to worry about this because health and environment science can also be seen in different subjects. So if they choose a topic, since the research title is on health and environment science, they should consider this the research title. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you. That's true that the topic, I mean, when we work on this classroom activities, classroom research, we highlight health and environment. But because our teachers, our participants come from different subject areas, so we are flexible in that sense.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Another question, Mom, regarding the Bloom's taxonomy. It is somewhat same with the Bloom's taxonomy. The only difference is to focus on developing moderation, prudence, and reasonableness. Thank you, Mom.
Okay, thank you so much, Darrell. And also, Abigail have some additional reflection.
I'd like to just share that one of the participating countries from Malaysia, they decided to do an integrated lesson map. So they decided to focus on one lesson map and different lesson plans so that they presented the 3 values in geometry. And then they tried to find an opportunity to teach English, like the concept of geometry is taught in English and then taught in arts like gardening, etc. So it's very interesting and unique. It's something we did not plan, but it's from the creative thinking of the group of teachers from Malaysia. So when they suggested that and I consulted the research team, they were allowed to send us an integrated lesson map. So it's as related to what Daryl mentioned, it's cross-cutting, interdisciplinary approach to teaching SEP. Just to give that information that it actually happened in one of the schools in batch 1. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abigail, for the additional clarification. And Libby, while we are waiting for the question from other audience, do you have any reflection regarding the presentation from our presenters and also some additional information you want to give to our participants?
I think adding on to what Abby's just been saying, this integrated response, as a former English teacher, you have, and there are many English teachers in this batch, you have many opportunities to support your colleagues in the school by finding out what they are doing and working on topics, the same topics together. English teaching languages, it makes it very flexible for you to do that, I think. Many opportunities that can be used in that area. And yes, I certainly was doing that as a teacher many years ago as well. So for English language teachers, yes, perhaps this would be a good opportunity to work with your colleagues Thank you. So,
Thank you so much, Libby. I also would like to highlight the methods of Ajahn Sasi. When she mentioned about the survey with the students, when she want to select the subject and the topic for the lesson mapping, I think that can be another good idea that the teachers can apply when you want to select the area for SEP element integration. And now, before I move to the next session, I also would like to encourage the Indonesian teachers and Thai teachers to ask some questions. All right, Indonesian participants, would you like to ask the question? Please raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself, or even you can type in the chat box. And how about Thai participants? คุณครูไทยคะอาจารย์ไทย Do you have any question? You can raise your hand or you can type in the chat box. Okay, let me check. All right. So
ตอนนี้ขออนุญาตคุยเป็นไทยได้ไหมคะ
ได้ค่ะ There is one Thai teacher would like to ask a question in Thai language. Okay ค่ะอาจารย์คะ please go on ค่ะอาจารย์คะ you can ask in Thai นะคะ you can ถามคำถามไทยแล้วก็เดี๋ยวจะแปลให้ค่ะ
โอเคค่ะเดี๋ยวแบบนี้นะคะ
โอเคค่ะอาจารย์เชิญเลยค่ะ
คือตอนนี้เข้าใจคอนเซปต์ของงานนะคะว่ามันเป็นยังไงแล้วก็โรงเรียนเทิงเราก็ค่อนข้างจะมีพื้นฐานที่มันซัพพอร์ตงานของเรื่องของเศรษฐกิจพอเพียงมากพอสมควรแต่ว่าตอนนี้เรากำลังมองว่าในลักษณะของกลุ่มตัวอย่างเนี่ยค่ะเวลาเราจะทำกลุ่มตัวอย่างเนี่ยสมมุติเรามีครูทีมอยู่ห้าคนในทีมเนี่ยเราจำเป็นว่าทุกคนจะต้องเป็นแผนใน5 คน 5 แผนหรือว่าเป็นแผนเดียวของโรงเรียนได้อย่างเงี้ยค่ะอาจารย์
ค่ะโอเคค่ะ so may I invite คุณดุริยา to answer her question so her question is asking she said that she understand about SEP concept but she would like to clarify that whether the lesson mapping or lesson plan that should be only one lesson plan per school or one lesson plan per teacher
Can thank you you want me to
ใช่ค่ะคุณดุริยา
talk in Thai
ใช่
or
ค่ะ
อาจารย์อยากให้ตอบภาษาอะไรคะอยากให้ตอบภาษาไทยก่อนค่ะโอเคถ้างั้นก็อย่างนี้คือจริงๆความตั้งใจเดิมเดี๋ยวตุ๊กอาจจะช่วยสรุปนิดนึงก็ได้นะคะความตั้งใจเดิมก็คือครู1 คนต่อ lesson plan หนึ่งชุดนะคะแต่ว่าพอทำไปทำมาแล้วเนี่ยเนื่องจากตัวเซฟเองเนี่ยมันก็สามารถใช้กับหลายวิชาได้นะคะเพราะฉะนั้นตอนนี้มันก็มีตัวอย่างมาเลที่เมื่อสักครู่คุณอบิเกลเขายกตัวอย่างก็คือมาเลเขาก็เลยทำแมปปิ้งเป็นชุดแล้วก็แยกออกมาเป็นครูแต่ละคนก็ถ้าสอนวิชาไหนก็ใส่เข้าไปในวิชาของตัวเองเพราะฉะนั้นอาจารย์ทำได้ทั้ง2 แบบอาจารย์เป็นโรงเรียนเซฟอยู่แล้วด้วยใช่ไหมคะดังนั้นก็จะง่ายนะคะค่ะ
ค่ะ
ขอบคุณค่ะอาจารย์
ค่ะ so I will translate the answer from Ms. Duriya that to the teachers that actually we hope that one teacher can develop one lesson plan by integrating SEP but however there is an example from Malaysia that they come up with some lesson mapping that that can be delivered by different teachers but teaching in one subject. So maybe Abigail can explain more about the lesson plan from the Malaysia that they integrate the subject together.
Thank you for the question and also for the response of Kunduriya. So I'd like to say with Kunduriya's permission that if possible, we encourage one lesson map per teacher. What was the disadvantage when we did the Malaysia model is the participation of students has been limited. So our target is one teacher, one subject area, one research group of students, one control group of students. What happened in the Malaysia model is they had to accommodate limited number of students because of the integration system that they did. And I would say it is not easy, the integrated approach. So I ended up assisting also the team and on how could that be done. Because while it is integrated in the lesson map, the English teacher has to show her own lesson plan. The teacher in geometry has to also show a chunk in geometry. And in arts, it's the same thing. So the only advantage that I could see on their part is they work together. The 5 teachers work together, brainstorm on one lesson map. But the lesson plan, they also have to do individually. But the big disadvantage for the research team is that the number of students has been limited. At the end, our conclusion is we encourage one lesson map, one teacher, please, Ka. Thank you.
So thank you so much to Abigail. So may I translate to the Thai teacher that อาจารย์คะก็คือความตั้งใจของเราเนี่ยอยากจะให้เป็นลักษณะว่า1 teacher 1 lesson map นะคะแล้วก็เป็นกลุ่มของนักเรียนในการเข้าร่วมโครงการที่แตกต่างกันค่ะนะคะค่ะก็ I think that it is clear now. So may I also encourage any question from Myanmar teachers?
ขอเติมนิดนึงได้ไหมของคุณครูไทยคือความตั้งใจเดิมเราอยากให้เป็นคนต่อคนนะคะแต่เผอิญมันมีตัวอย่างที่เขาทำเป็นชุดแต่ว่าในที่สุดแล้วเนี่ยมันก็จะต้องเป็นรายวิชาเพราะฉะนั้นอาจารย์จะต้องทำ1 คนต่อ1 lesson plan อยู่ดีนะคะเพียงแต่ความยากของมะเลก็อย่างที่พี่เกียวพูดก็คือนักเรียนเขาไม่ได้เยอะพอนะคะแล้วก็แต่พอเขาทำเป็นลักษณะของ mapping ใหญ่แล้วเนี่ยในที่สุดแต่ละคนจะต้องไปดีไซน์ของตัวเองที่จะเป็น lesson plan ของตัวเองอยู่ดีค่ะ
Thank you very much for the additional clarification. So before we end the session, I would like to ensure that any question from the Indonesian teachers or Myanmar teachers. Okay, if you have any question, you can unmute yourself or even like you can type in the chat box.
Miss Kin Kinlay is from Myanmar, might want to ask a question.
Okay, Miss Kin Kinlay, are you here with us? Can you please unmute yourself if you would like to ask the question? Miss Kin Kinlay?
Just write in the chat box if you cannot unmute.
Yeah. So Miss Kin Kinlay, if you have any question, you can type in the chat box.
Mr. Omar Win is also with us.
Yeah.
From Myanmar.
Yes, many from Myanmar also joining us today. All right, okay, so if there are not any further questions, so may I move to the next session. So we can come back again after the closing activity if you have additional questions. So the last presentation of today is about the resource materials concepts. And it's gonna be presented by Abigail. And I hope that Abigail is ready for this presentation. Abigail, the floor is yours.
Thank you once again. Thank you for, I would say, a very productive discussion. This is what we want to see. Participants asking questions and helping us clarify many points. So while I work on my screen, we still have time. So after this short presentation, I think we can still entertain questions or reflections from participants. Some doubts, for example, I like the question from Thailand that she really has to ask it in Thai, and she really wanted to make sure, do we do a lesson map individually or a group? So if we have those questions that we need to get them out because they might affect us when we do our research in the school later on. I wish we can also encourage others to ask questions in their language, but we may not have someone to interpret for us. But I know for the group of Myanmar, some of you can really speak English well. The same with Cambodia, the same with Laos. So feel free to ask questions anytime or give your reflections or your comments. I'd like to just share the resource materials we have on SEP. At the beginning, I would like to inform our participants that the pilot study we are doing is the first of its kind. This is the very first study that attempts to look at this objective. And I have to say that materials on SEP are many, but many are in Thai language. So what the research team did is to develop resource materials that teachers could use. I'd like to start by reminding our teachers who are listening to me right now in the batch 2. We saw the example of the 2 teachers from batch 1, Mr. Dyrel and Miss Sasi. The content of their lesson maps are contents that they teach. Biology for Mr. Dyrel and chemistry for Miss Sasi. These are contents that you already know as a teacher. This is your specialization. You graduated with these degrees. So these are something that is yours. The only thing that we need to add is the SEP elements. But if you notice in the presentation of the 2 teachers, the important thing is they know exactly what the SEP elements are. When Mr. Dyrel said, when he was developing the lesson map, he keeps thinking about the definition of moderation. I think if we have that technique, it will not be very difficult to develop the lesson map and later on the lesson plans. So going back to resource materials on SEP, while we do not have many available materials that show us how the SEP elements are integrated in the different subject areas, you know your subject areas. So you only need to understand the SEP elements. What I'm saying is even with limited available resource materials on SEP, you have lots of materials about your specialization. So it is not difficult if we focus along that line of thinking. I hope you agree with me. Again, I cannot see you nodding your heads right now, but I hope that the examples of the 2 teachers give us a clear idea on how to proceed. So may I present the slides? We have online and offline resources. I say online because we can access them through the internet. We have developed a repository, a small library online of sample learning contents, materials and documents that we used last time and we use this time, this batch. The research tools we will discuss in more detail tomorrow are all available. I will call it in a small online library, which is a Google Classroom. Tomorrow, we will talk more about how to access the Google Classroom, and some we may need to email to you as PDF, and that's what I call offline resources. So the contents in the Google Classroom are online because you can go to that site and access them. But if you cannot do that, or if you do not want to do that, we will email you everything as a PDF. And that is your offline version of the resources. We have Google Drives. For those who do not use Google Drives, as long as you use a Gmail, you can access this. Can they access it without a Gmail, Oi? If they don't have a Gmail, they can access Google Drive. You should have a Gmail account, friends. But anyway, if you don't have any Gmail account, it's so easy to do one. But if it is still difficult for you, don't worry. Just tell us, we will email you the documents. Tomorrow, you will be developing lesson map and lesson plans. And guess what? There are many examples from batch 1 of lesson maps and lesson plans that, with their kind permission as their input to the training, you can use them as your examples. You see, batch 2, that's how fortunate this batch is, because there's an earlier batch that produce outputs and we can use them as examples. We prepared a compilation of SEP-rich learning content and teaching strategies. And I'd like to show some of them to you, if we can move the slides. Again, our challenge in the first batch is, how do I teach moderation if my subject area is environment, education, or science, and my topic is air pollution? How do I teach it? In the example of Dyrel, our teacher from the Philippines, his technique is he tried to understand what prudence is, or what moderation is, and what reasonable is, for him to match it to his topic. For Miss Sassy, she has also aligned them right away at the beginning. But in case you do not know how to do it, or you're confused, or you just don't know how to start, or you don't know what activity matches with prudence or moderation, we prepared some examples for you. I'd like to say that these are not perfect. We use the help of artificial intelligence to do this, so we can produce as many as we can. These are just examples, and they will just give you idea on how to start, how to get some strategies, activities. For example, assessment. We appreciate the input of Ajan Jintani to Dyrel's lesson map to include a formative assessment, another kind of assessment. So if you don't know what kind of assessment do I do, what activity as an assessment could I include? So we have some examples made available for you. You just have to browse through, but most of these topics are related to environment and health education, which is the original focus of the research. But as mentioned by Mr. Dyrel earlier, actually we can teach science now in an English class, and also confirmed by our colleague Libby. So don't worry what your subject matter is. Just look at the examples, and I'm sure you can get some inspiration. Now, let me show you specific examples in the next slide. Teaching reasonableness in balanced nutrition. Can we move the slide? Yes, thank you. So, for example, your topic is in nutrition, and you don't know where to start. What activities do I include? So, in this example, we have 4 activities that includes strategies that also include the SEP element. For example, healthy meal planning. That's your activity. What to do about it? Guide students in planning a balanced and reasonable meal using the food pyramid or a similar guide. If we don't know this food pyramid, Google it up. Or if this is your specialization, I'm sure you know this. Now, emphasize the importance of including a variety of foods in appropriate portions. Just reasonable portion. Not over eating or overfeeding, and also not under eating or underfeeding, which will not be healthy anymore. So this is a very simple example, but this will give you an idea how to get started. Let's move to the next one. Teaching prudence in environmental education. For example, your topic is air pollution. What activity can I include in a lesson plan? Probably, how about public awareness event? So what is this about? Host a public awareness event in collaboration with local authorities or environmental groups to educate the community about the impacts of air pollution and the importance of prudent actions to reduce it. Or maybe you don't want to do it because it will involve the local government officials and then the community. You just want to do it at the school level or in your class. How about doing an activity on environmental heroes? Introduce students to environmental activists and leaders in the area who have promoted prudent environmental practices. Discuss their contributions and how they have inspired change in the region. Probably you do not have environmental heroes in your area. Then perhaps you can research and find some individuals. You can also look up at the SEAMEO website because we did an award for environmental heroes. So probably you might want to use them as an example, the winners of our award. So these are examples that you might find simple, but what you can do is, if we go back some slides back, the SEP elements in learning activities, the list, you see that one topic targets one SEP element only. But what is necessary is to make sure that those 3 are all present in your lesson plans, as presented to us by Ms. Sassy and Mr. Dyrell. So, teach prudence, moderation, and reasonableness together. Infuse them as a group in your lesson map. So what you can do, if you see the screen, is you can take one reasonableness, one moderation, and one prudence. Again, it doesn't have to be a topic on environmental education. It can be physical education, it could be mathematics. What is necessary is all three elements should be included, should be infused together as one set in your lesson map. Again, I hope I can see you nod to me that you get what I'm trying to say, and I am making myself clear to everyone. Again, if not, please feel free to comment or ask questions using the chat box or raise your hand. The last point I'd like to share is a document that we call research guide. We can move the slides to that now. And this is just to assure our teachers and principals that we have a reference booklet that you can go back to review details about the research. For example, the research steps. If you think you did not get enough information from our session, there is a prepared document that you can go back to. And this is a combination of the slides that we presented and also longer explanations of the different points that we have discussed yesterday, today, and what we will discuss tomorrow. There might be many documents and might cause confusion. That's okay. We will help you sort them out. We will send to you the document by batch, so you will not be confused. I hope it will make it easier for all of you. But my point is, overall, let us help you make things easy in understanding the points as well as in undertaking the research. Perhaps I'd like to end with just one point, which is our language barrier. I mentioned yesterday and this morning earlier that we will attempt to translate materials in the language that you speak or that you are comfortable with. We will have minimum capacity to do this. And as you know, there are many online tools that can help us translate language, and that's what we will do. So at this point, I'd like to end, and if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box or raise your hand or communicate with us through our MC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abigail, for the very clear presentation, and I hope that our participants have better understanding about the process and also the guiding documents that you can use for the program implementation and also for conducting the research with your students. So may I know if there are any questions from our participants so far? Okay, so
Miss Piapa, there is a comment or probably a response from Myanmar in the chat box, which we might want to acknowledge.
all right, okay.
Would you like me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay, Miss Om from Myanmar, thank you for clear explanation. And she said, I was incomplete in lesson map, and I will make it complete next time. Sincerely appreciate that, Miss Om. We noted that. We are happy to hear from you, and we're happy that we will receive the complete lesson map soon. Thank you. Sincerely appreciate it.
And there is a question from Thai teachers also, Abigail. What is the specific number of hours?
I think Libby has kindly answered it. Our colleague said 15 hours. she said minimum 15 teaching hours.
Okay, that's good. So is there any questions from the participants?
Dyrel has a comment, and Dyrel, that's noted. Thank you.
Salute, ma'am.
And if Dyrel and Miss Sassy have questions, feel free to ask also, or if you have additional point from what you heard from us. From Cambodia, Miss Piapa, maybe we should also try to get them. If is Mr. Cavon, you may want to ask question. Mr. Seray Rotnak. Good to ask question now, so you know what to do.
I'm asking, Madam.
All right. Okay, go, please.
Please go on, sir.
Mr. Seray, please unmute. We're listening.
Okay, so I guess that no more question from our participants. So anyway, if you have any question, please, we still have time to address your question. You can type in the chat box, or you can send an email to Abigail for your personal question regarding the research methodologies and the procedures that you need to do. So I think that we are now reaching to the closing activity. And may I invite Libby to moderate the session. Libby, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Kunto. I think you would agree that's been quite an intensive day, a lot of information and a lot of inputs. So at this point, we would like to assess your learning from today, to just reflect for a few minutes on what's the outcome of today for you. So again, we're using Mentimeter, which will make life easier for you. It's quick, easy activity. And we have 3 questions for you. The link will go into the chat box. And there is also the QR code on the screen for those of you with the phone. Could we just have the link in the chat box? Okay, we just need to be a little bit patient. It's coming soon, I think, unless I've not seen it. Hang on. Oh, there it is. Sorry, yeah, I hadn't scrolled down. I'm a bit of a dinosaur with technology. You have to excuse me. Okay, so if you can all get in to the Mentimeter. And let's go to the first question. So reflecting on what we've looked at today with incredible inputs from really informative inputs from Mr. Darrell and Sassy, and all the help from Abby in explaining the research to you. Let's now think, what is the most important learning from today for you? Just a few words from each participant would be very nice. So what's the most important learning? Have you all gone for lunch? Where are you? The most important thing to you, what was your big aha moment? Yeah, getting new experiences, yeah. Lesson plans, yeah, how to do that. How to do the lesson map, yes. I'm not sure. I'm going to need help on the translation there, maybe from Kuntuk. So lesson planning, it seems, and lesson planning seems to be the one that's coming up most at the moment. So presumably integrating those the SEP elements into your plans. I'm sure that's the big thing. And the mapping is featured, yes, but the big thing, I think the big thing here is the planning. You're desperate to get started on that, which is good. We'll be doing that tomorrow. SEP integrate in the less. I'm not quite sure what in the less. Might need a bit more help with that one. Perhaps you could add something in the chat box for me. Oh, in the lesson, probably. You probably ran out of letters. Okay, you're obviously all really responding well to this idea of getting these elements into your lessons, and it would be really fun to see what you do with that. Okay, from Myanmar, we've also got to add in that resource materials on SEP. So that's great. Thank you, Kunchveshwe, for that comment in the chat box. Okay, anybody else got any thoughts on the important, oh, here, it's still coming in. New science. Research materials, yes. I think this is a clear sign that you're ready to get started on the whole project. It would be really good. All right, let's move. And so that's 28 of you. It would be nice to have 30, but let's move on to the second question. So how happy are you with today's session? So with 10 being very happy and 0 being not very happy. Oh, it's nice to see that start. Very reassuring. Oh, I think we'll need to find out why. Perhaps whoever responded 3 could give us some give us some indication of what the problem is. If you could email or put something in the chat box, that's fine. It would be very, very willing to help you out if things have not been clear, or to send documents if you need to see something. That's 28 responses already. Can we go to 30? Well, from this profile, the majority of you seem very happy and very clear. And as I say, most of you are very happy, or at least satisfied with what has happened. But as I say, we need some inputs from you. If you're not happy, not so happy, we need to know why and how we can help you. Thank you again, Kunchveshwe, very active in participating here today. We're very happy as well. Thank you for that comment. Okay. So we've now got 31 participants have responded. And like Kunchveshwe, if you can't use the Mentimeter, please add something into the chat box. Okay, and for the final question then, let's move to question 3. Can we move to question 3? Okay. So what one thing you're excited about for tomorrow's session? What are you looking forward to? Okay, so in tomorrow's program, you'll be doing the mapping, your own mapping. You'll be doing your own planning, amongst other things. Let me just take a quick look at the program. We have, really, it's all down to you tomorrow. Are you looking forward to it? Oh, the unexpected. So tomorrow it's all in your hands. Are you excited? You're curious. Good. Are you ready to get started? You're not sure about how you feel tomorrow, is that? You're hoping to learn more about the SET mindset, develop your SET rich lesson maps, and yeah. To see everyone online. Yes, it's really nice to be in such a good group of people. And you're also active, it's marvelous. Research tools. Okay, so perhaps you need to go and explore the classroom and see what we've got in there. Mindset, yes. Of course, it's over to you tomorrow. It's you finding that SET mindset and infusing elements into your lessons. Oh, somebody's clever. They can use the emojis as well. It's more than I can. Abigail singing. Ah, well, that would, I'm sure we can arrange something. Summarize more about SEP. I think once you start putting things into practice and trying to develop these plans, you will develop your understanding. It comes with practice. It's like all learning. You have to learn by doing it. Using SEP, yeah. And we seem to be, you're excited, curious, waiting for the unexpected. Okay, that's 26. Let's go up to 30 again on this final question. Where did that summarize? See everyone on that set value and the values and mindset. Okay, this is all about the putting it into practice, isn't it? And don't forget, you can also ask more questions tomorrow. The chat box is always open and the emails will be responded to. 2 more responses to get to 30. I'm still thinking. I think we've run out of steam today. Oh, no, something's come in. I can't see where it came in. Let's see. Mindset and attitude. So these terms are obviously playing in your heads now, and you're thinking about these, getting ready for tomorrow. Okay, I think we've probably heard, well, we've heard from 29 of you. I've just been looking in the chat box and Tuk would like me to ask you, oh, hang on a minute. Tuk's asking me for you to stay around and have a final photo at the end of this, so don't disappear immediately. My eyes are boggling here. tools. Okay. Thank you so much for these inputs. They keep coming. So a lot of these comments are to do with the different attitudes, values, mindset, and applying them in your lessons, into the maps, into the plans, using research tools. And yeah, tomorrow it's all yours. You will be able to do that yourselves. Okay, I am going to close the Mentimeter at this point. Thank you very much for your participation, and thank you for your participation throughout the whole day. It's really been fantastic. So at this point, prepare yourselves for a final photo.
Thank you so much, Libby, for another nice interactive session. So now, before we end the session, I would like to request another photo session. Some participants saying here like photo session, happy session, of course. Okay, so everybody please open the camera and make yourself in the middle of the screen. Make sure that you look nice. So may I check if anyone has not opened the camera yet? So let me see in gallery. Okay, ka. The teacher from Walayalak University, would you mind to open your camera? And also we have some participants from Myanmar. Miss Kin Kin Le, would you mind to open your camera? Okay, and participant from Mr. Andy. Chacha from the Walayalak University, Martha from Indonesia, I guess, Ajahn Sakalin ka, and Miss May July, Miss from Myanmar, Omawin from Myanmar, Savi from, I guess, not sure, maybe from Cambodia. And let me check. Ajahn Achalika, would you mind to open the camera? Andy, and Martha. Miss May July. Okay, and the participant from Myanmar as well, would you mind to open the camera? And Ajahn from Thailand, Ajahn Sakalin, Ajahn Warit. Okay, so, all right, okay, without further ado, so I think that we can take the photo now. All right, so we will take the photo for 2 shots. The first shot, formal, okay, but you need to smile big so that you will be seen in our official photo for the report. All right, may I count? So for the formal photo, so on my count, please, keep smiling. 1, 2, 3. Keep smiling. Okay, I double check with our technician team. Complete. Okay, so give time for my team. Keep smiling for the formal shot. Now, we can go to the freestyle shot. This is the favorite shot from our teachers. Everybody, freestyle shot, please. Whatever. Okay, on my count, the first shot. 1, 2, 3. Keep posting. Okay, the second shot. 1, 2, 3. All right, see that I can see that everybody happy and happy and happy. Thank you so much. All right, okay. So I also have, thank you everyone. Don't go yet because I also have another announcement.
Tomorrow. Thank you,
No, not yet. I also have some announcement for you for
thank you,
tomorrow.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Please stay na. Okay, I also have some announcement for you tomorrow. So the session tomorrow will start at 9 a.m. Bangkok time. So we would like you to log in again at about 8:30. And tomorrow we will learn more details, how to do lesson mapping. So the question that you answer today, oh my God, the lesson mapping sounds to be very difficult. I cannot do it. Or how I can integrate SEP into the lesson plan. So tomorrow we will give you instruction how to do the lesson mapping and lesson planning. And also Abigail will present you about the research tools and how to access and make use of the Google Classroom for your project. Okay, so I hope that tomorrow's session will be the last session and you will have the better understanding for the whole process. And Abigail will send you this PM about the template for the lesson mapping. So you can start drafting your lesson maps since we may not have limited time for the workshop tomorrow. So we will send all the documents to you this afternoon. And we also would like to request your cooperation to send a sample of lesson plan that you use in your school. So your usual lesson plan or whatever lesson plan that you have for our example. So we will send you the Google Drive link, or you can send the lesson plan, the existing lesson plan to our email. All right, you can send it to Abigail. And please note that for tomorrow, we will use another Zoom meeting link, which Ms. Abigail will send it to you in advance. Please use another Zoom meeting link for tomorrow. And for our presentation materials of today and other relevant materials, Abigail will send it to you again. So everything about the Abigail. So thank you so much for your active participation in our today orientation, and thank you for the contribution of the speakers and the participants who staying with us from the beginning until the end of the session today. And tomorrow is the last day of the orientation, and I hope to see all of you again tomorrow. Thank you very much and bye-bye.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
See you
Bye
tomorrow
bye.
again. Bye-bye, Darrell. Bye-bye,
Bye bye, Professor.
Thank you so much.
Bài
Bye.
chỉ vậy đã video mà xài nè. Lấy em một câu này.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye, sir. Bye, everyone. And see you again tomorrow.
Goodbye, everyone. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye, Darrell. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Swesweo, Miss Kinkinley, Miss Miatit, Dao Omar Win. Thank you.
Ajahn Valailakha, thank you so much for your participation today.
John, Miss Om, thank you.
Ajahn Krishnadet, thank you so much. Ajahn Malika, Ajahn Chintani, thank you very much.
Miss Addie, you don't talk to me. Miss May July, hello.
Miss Abigail and for sings.
What?
Tomorrow sings.
So much.
Hi, Miss Om.
Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you too for being online. Message us, right? Message us.
Thank you. So much.